I mean, that's wrong, man. I mean, that just like torturing someone. Yeah, I mean, going in there and hurting someone is just not fair on Davis.
Jake Paul, Tank Davis.
I got Tank by murder.
Size don't matter?
Hell,
And people, it's funny how now they're saying size matters, Jake is big, when for so long it's been Tank would kill Jake Paul. Now you get to see if that's...
Boxing experts believe Gervonta Davis will beat Jake Paul. They say Davis's experience and skill give him a clear edge. Many expect him to dominate. Paulie Malignaggi explained that even with Jake's size advantage, Davis's talent and experience are on another level. He called Davis's career legendary, built on years of dominance, and reminded fans that Davis's achievements still shape the sport today.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level.
Yeah.
He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion with multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you. You're probably going down if you're a small guy if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing. And I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot?
Nikisa Badarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions and an important figure in Jake Paul's career, shared his thoughts before the fight. He said Jake's size doesn't matter against a fighter like Davis. According to Nikisa, this fight wasn't a sudden choice, but has been in the works since Jake's canceled match with Canelo Alvarez. He added that both teams have been waiting for the right moment to make a big event. While some argued Jake's size could be a problem for Davis, Nikisa dismissed it, saying skill, speed, and power matter more than size, and Davis has all three.
I got to ask you about the elephant in the room. What weight, Nikisa, what weight could they possibly be fighting at? The news broke, Jake and Tank are going to happen November 14th.
Whatever weight they want, man, they're talking about it, and whatever it is, it's going to be a definitive outcome. People can talk about pro, exhibition. We're going to make sure this is as real as it's real.
Why was it, just out of curiosity, why is it not a professional bout and why is it an exhibition? Because I'm sure Jake would have taken the professional bout.
Nothing's been communicated as yet in terms of what it is, right? Similar to, if you remember, with Paul Tyson, when we announced it, we didn't have the weight, we didn't have the rules, particularly in terms of the number of rounds, the minutes, the gloves. It's going to be the same thing here.
Gotcha. Can you just offer us any insight as to how these negotiations went? And the reason I ask is because I remember back in March, I was at Tank's fight, and after his fight in his press conference, he was asked, next opponent. He said, well, my next opponent might have been in my locker room tonight. And people asked him, was it Jake? He made reference, he made allusion to. Has this been an ongoing thing? And has it ever, been at a point where it wasn't going to happen and came back? Or was this always the plan?
Always been the plan for Jake to fight Tank once Canelo didn't happen. And to Tank's credit, he's a real bad dude, and he's been calling out Jake for 3 years. And people, it's funny how now they're saying size matters, Jake is big, when for so long it's been Tank would kill Jake Paul. And now you get to see if that's real. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Got you. Knockout?
One of them.
The elephant in the room. elephant in the... What do you know about how this came to be? And then if you can, do you have any idea on what the weight is going to be between Jake Paul and Tank Davis, which was just announced?
Well, considering that I'm one of the guys on the team, you know, we always like to allow everyone in front to be able to release the information as they please.
Veteran trainer Jeff Mayweather has a different opinion. He thinks Jake Paul has the advantage at this weight. Jake has fought most of his career at cruiserweight, bringing natural size, strength, and reach. Davis, however, is moving up in weight, and Jeff questioned if his body can handle the jump. This shows the split among experts. Some believe Davis's skills will win, while others see Jake's size as the deciding factor.
We have weight classes for a reason. And I mean, even as good as Tank is.
It'd be similar to Logan and Floyd, right, if it's an exhibition? Well, I mean, the weight differences.
Weight difference is way more. Jake is over 200 pounds.
Logan was around 200 pounds.
Yeah, but
Who wins the fight, man? We ain't talking. Who wins if they have it? Come on now, answer the question.
I mean, to be honest, I would think Jake know how to fight a little bit. I think he should win. You beating a man that's 135 pounds, he should be able to win.
Gervonta Davis added fuel to the hype by posting the official promo video on Instagram. Many fans expected him to fight Lamont Roach again to settle unfinished business, but instead, he chose Jake Paul on a global stage. By sharing the promo, Davis showed that boxing is not just about legacy fights, but also about entertainment and reaching bigger audiences. While purists wanted the Roach rematch, Davis made it clear he doesn't care about criticism. He knows the fight with Jake. Paul will grab worldwide attention and become one of the year's biggest events.
They're trying to fight up. They were trying or still trying to find a common medium, which is 175, so the fight can officially be sanctioned as a real boxing match. But there's no boxing commission that will sanction it because the weight is just too far apart. And Jake Paul has proven to be a true boxer now, okay? So it's considered an exhibition, which what I'm being told is going to be 10 two-minute rounds. But they wanted Jake Paul to make 175 so this can be a real boxing match and count against their record and box rec. But the fans are demanding to see him fight Lamont Roach. As I told you guys, Tank told you that he wasn't fighting Lamont Roach in the rematch. He had other plans, which is Jake Paul. He told you that in the post-fight press conference after the Lamont Roach fight, right? So with that said, that fell through at the time, and he revisited and entertained the idea of fighting Lamont Roach in a rematch. But he never signed the contract. They were supposed to fight June 21st. He never signed the contract. Then they were supposed to fight August 16th. He never signed the contract. And then he had the arrest. He had to get bailed out, so on and so forth. With that said, now he's broke his silence. He resurfaced on social media because he went ghost on social media. And he put up this promo, and the fans are responding in a negative way. And he's responding in a negative way. He's responding right back with the same energy. And he's telling the fans, because the fans are saying, hey, the money that you reportedly making, which is being said that he's going to make $40 million for this fight, according to multiple sources and Eddie Hearn and a few other people, he's supposed to make guaranteed purse of $40 million.
Matchroom's Frank Smith revealed that Davis was originally set to face Lamont Roach in a rematch. But when the chance to fight Jake Paul came up, everything changed. Smith said the money and international spotlight were too big to ignore. Shows how boxing has changed. Fighters now balance legacy with business. For Davis, fighting Jake Paul isn't just about money, it's about reaching fans beyond boxing. Smith didn't attack the decision, but admitted big crossover fights now get priority over legacy battles.
And let's say you take money out of the equation, which is obviously the main factor here, but like he's in a division where he's got killers all in his division. You know, Shakur, Haney, who's 147. You know, you look at Tio, for example, Keyshawn, and then you choose to fight someone like Paul. Surely that's a concern when you do look at it like that.
Yeah, but again, it's the world we're in. If you can get huge amount of money to fight someone who's never boxed really before, you're going to do it. You know, Floyd Mayweather boxed Logan Paul with a huge weight disparity.
He was done by then.
I know.
He was done. Like, this is an active
world
champion.
But it's the world we're in.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. You know, when it comes down to it. It's just like Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. Two completely different sports. Was the biggest pay-per-view in recent times, wasn't it? Maybe if ever.
Those are like different comparisons, though, if you think about it. Do you not like...
Yeah, but the sport's in a wild place, isn't it? That's just, like, I'm just like the reality of where we are, you know. And I can't really say much when we're talking about Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua at the same time.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think Tank should get stripped of his title?
Yeah, I think anyone who, just in general, doesn't defend their title to do something else should get stripped because it shouldn't hold the belts up. You know, in any, like, I think that should be the reality in anything. You know, if you're not going to defend your belts or you're not defending, sometimes there's the rules, obviously, if you fight for a belt at a higher weight, you can retain the belt until there. But if you're not, don't have intention of defending the belts, you shouldn't hold the belts up. People should get the opportunity to fight for them.
What happened with the failed negotiations between AJ and Jake Paul?
I think anything's still possible. That was always discussed for next year. You know, this fight's November, early part of next year. AJ's in a great place because if anyone in the heavyweight division wants to make huge money, Anthony Joshua is the man they have to get in there.
An analyst defended Davis against criticism for choosing Jake Paul. He said fans often look for reasons to hate instead of respecting fighters' careers. Davis has spent years proving himself with discipline, talent, and knockout wins. If he now takes a money fight, the analyst argued, there's nothing wrong with that. Many fighters don't get the same credit as crossover stars like Jake Paul. With this fight, Davis gets not only his biggest payday, but also a chance to silence doubters and show he can handle the spotlight.
Casual, but what about the hardcore boxing fans? Won't we stand up and put some value on fighters that dare to be great, that respect the sport of boxing and not just the business of boxing? Ryan Garcia never been a champion. Shout out to Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia never been a champion. Making more money than these guys, Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, right? Ryan Garcia, the less accomplished fighter, was just main eventing in their last fight. Devin Haney was the co-main event, and Teofimo Lopez was playing third fiddle. Where was the hardcore boxing fans' dollars? Where was the hardcore boxing fans' appreciation? Don't blame that on Turkey. Don't blame that on the promoters. The promoters are businessmen. And it seems like the promoters already know that the hardcore boxing fans don't flip the bill. Don't get mad at Gervonta Tank Davis for chasing the money, because he understood that in the sport of boxing, it's not enough to just go for the gusto. It's not lucrative to be the best, to fight the best and be the best. At the end of the day, they prize fighters as well. So the hardcore boxing fans is at fault. The business handlers, you know, in business, you go for your target audience. So they're going for the casuals. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis make the most money and do the most.
Some fans accuse Davis of avoiding top names like Shocker Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez to fight Jake Paul for money. But others say that's unfair. Davis has already beaten champions and stayed undefeated, proving his dominance. Claiming he's ducking opponents ignores his legacy. Taking on Jake Paul doesn't erase his past, shows how today's boxing has many paths. Whether through legacy fights or crossover events,
Go ever fight no Shakur Stevenson, no Keyshawn Davis, no Teofimo Lopez, no none of them dudes. You know what I'm talking about? We gotta think and look at Tank Davis's whole career. He done made some bread, but at the end of the day, all that bread that he made, when it's all said and done, he ain't gonna get no respect from his peers, because we gonna look down his resume and we gonna be like, he was trash, he was some trash, he was some trash, he was all right, but he was never like that. He was okay. He was some trash, he was some trash, he ain't did nothing. Hey, that's just what it's gonna be at the end of the day. Get mad, a moment of silence, all of the Gervonta Tank Davis